Hey folks, it's Samuel here with another episode of Adulting While on the Spectrum. Before I begin, I just want you folks to know that you can find me online in a few places. The first place being Instagram, which is Huber Family Adventures. You can find me on YouTube as Samuel Huber, on Facebook as Samuel Huber, and my website, www.samuelhuber.net. Today's episode is a continuation of my series about talking about the college life for people on the spectrum. And one of the huge ones that often I get asked about is how to make friends in college, because unlike high school, which is geared toward autistic people that many people like me came out of, college is often not geared towards specifically people on the spectrum, but just everybody. And that can be very intimidating for people like me on how to start friends. And they often don't know where to start because they've always had someone to prompt them to start a conversation or feeding them some questions to ask or just helping them initiate conversation. But college is the first big step towards socializing on your own, doing it on your own, and being independent with who you choose to be friends with. This is the first time for many of us that not just autistic people, but mom and dad aren't making the decisions. It's on you. No matter how you see yourself, it's on you to make friends. Often I get asked where to start. The best place to start is in the classroom, in the college classroom. And it doesn't have to be complicated, folks. You don't have to, uh, you know, do something crazy like jump on your desk and rip up your textbook, or it's just a simple. There are a lot of simple tips out there on how to start socializing on an adult level. Let's start with the obvious one. Hi. I often advise my younger clients on just saying hi to their classmates. They thought, that person I might want to be friends with. And the next step is looking for clues. Step two. What are clues? Things are things that people aren't saying, but you know that you can connect with them. Looking for those shared interests. This could be a band T-shirt that you both like a certain band. Um, movie shirt. Colors. Or it could just be your interest in the class, that you're both psych majors, you're both music majors, you're both neurology majors, whatever your major may be. That's a topic of conversation to have with your classmates. So you could start after saying hi, and the other person saying hi after a few classes. Just, what do you think of the class? You know, and if they're saying I'm really struggling with it, you can be like, "Why don't we start a study group?" What I'm trying to say is step three, which is creating a situation for you guys to hang out, which often isn't talked about when we're taught how to socialize in high school, middle school, and elementary school. I'm talking to my fellow Aspies out there. But you, as a young adult, have to create the situation where people want to hang out with you. And how do you do that? You have to create a situation around step two, which was sharing your common interests. So starting a music club, starting an anime club, starting a video game club, starting an art club, whatever it is you are really passionate about, that that's what you want to start your club around. Because then you'll attract people that have similar interests to you. Um, for example, I joined the art club, which I helped set up like art exhibits in college, and I joined a couple other ones, like a psych one for a bit, and I met a lot of really cool people, and I was able to branch out, and eventually I started getting invited to social events, the ones that we all have been looking forward to as young people, which is going to college parties, or and other social events that we've seen in the movies. For me, if you've seen my videos before, my big influence on what college life was like was Animal House, which if you have or haven't seen it, it's a very wild movie, and it's often huge exaggerations on what the college life is like. Um, but it gave me a visual I needed, and that's the huge thing is visualize what kind of parties you want to go to. Do you want to go to a laid back one? Do you want to go to a wild one? Whatever that might be, you get to these parties, and often when I was back then, I didn't know what to do. The key thing is, again, focus on common interests. You see someone from one of your classes, you can start off with say, "Hey, I've seen you in my biology class," and they would say, "Yeah," and just try to have a conversation there. And then the other huge aspect that I often get asked is, what if everyone's drinking? What do I do? And cause I'm not comfortable drinking because I'm underage or just I don't want to. But I don't want to be outed or made fun of for not willing to participate. One common trick that I often share is what I like to call fake drinking. What is fake drinking? Fake drinking is where you take an empty beer can or a full one, and you just hold it. You don't take a sip or you take a pretend sip, not really having it, because I'm not encouraging you to underage drink. But it's a topic of conversation of how many you've had. A lot of young men like to compete with each other on how to drink. But what you do if you don't want to participate is you wait for the party to go for an hour or so, and then you collect like 5 or 6 empty beer cans, and then you know and then you just hold them for a moment, and then and make a joke like I drank 6 of these and I feel nothing, and you throw them out, or you just hold one empty beer can the whole night, and then just periodically pretend to throw it out. If you can burp on command, then throw that in. Just come with the ability to fake it until you're ready. Which is at age 21, and that's a huge part that I want my young Aspies to understand is it's not so much being wild and crazy in college. It's about learning to connect with people who are just as lost as you are and figure out who they are. And that's a huge part I want to get across in this video is um, leading up to college. A lot of Aspie people feel that they're somehow special because they are on the spectrum. That being on the spectrum makes you extra lost and confused. And one of the few things I learned in college is we're all lost at that age. No 18-year-old knows who they are. And if you think you do, I'm sorry, there's still much more of life that you need to learn because life is you only learn about life and through experiences and your own experiences, not through the movies you watch or the role you're trying to play, the mask you try to wear. It's what you go through with your friends that you make in college. Um, and that's the other huge thing, which leads to step 5, communicating with your college friends. This is ever so important because often when people on the spectrum make friends, we get very, very excited about it because a lot of us grew up with little to no friends. On top of that, when we make a neurotypical friend, we get even more excited that we feel accepted by general society. This is especially complex because there are so many unwritten social rules, and we're not always aware of them. We don't know always to ask for them. But the key is trial and error. For example, one time in college, I made a friend, and I showed up at his dorm at 2 in the morning because I wanted to hang out with him. I didn't realize it was 2 in the morning. I didn't text, I didn't call, I didn't email, I didn't message him on Facebook. I just showed up at his dorm, and when he opened the door half awake, I came in and started talking about. I think it was like the Phillies just won the World Series or something like that, and I didn't realize that he was getting angrier and angrier that I wouldn't leave to the point where he physically threw me from the dorm room. And he said, "Please call or text Sam next before you try to hang out with me. It's two in the morning. God damn it!" And since then, I've called or text before I show up anywhere. And my point of that story is learning from your experiences, learning what to do, and being aware of the effect you have on your friends, like showing up at the dorm room at 2 in the morning unexpectedly, and then learning to laugh about it afterwards. Don't beat yourself up. Oh, I should have been aware that it was 2 in the morning. I should have texted. I should have called. Learn. Okay, next time I won't do that. And then make a joke about it, like, hey, Will, do you want a 2 a.m. wake up call again? There's a lot of ways to have fun in college, and the key is to have a sense of humor about these misunderstandings. Because the huge thing I learned in college was my autism doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother other people. And if I accept that everyone's just trying to figure out who they are, it's easier to connect with people. And that's a shared interest, I think, for any college student, figuring out what they want to do for a career, who they want to date, who they want to be friends with, where they want to live, what parties they want to go to, what cliques they want to go to be in, what clubs they want to be in. The list goes on. And the key is to find where you fit in. And once you realize everyone else is doing the same thing, it's much easier. You have so much more in common than with neurotypical people than you could ever realize. And that's the heart of today's video is for my young college athletes is that you are just like your peers and that they're all different. You're not the only one who's different. That you are a part of the college community where you realize they're not. And once you realize, hey, I'm on this journey with my classmates, adulting at that age becomes much more fun. So my advice is join the community, go to social clubs, go to parties, whether you're ready to drink or not, and find a way to interact and connect with your peers. Look for your shared interests. Don't let your fears hold you back. And it's often these fears that make us leave college. A lot of people on the spectrum don't finish college, not because of the classes, but because of the social aspects. We don't get it. The key is, as Ms. Frizzle always says, take chances, make mistakes, and learn. All your mistakes are learning opportunities. They're not because you should be shamed for not knowing something. They're here to teach you how to be an adult and how to navigate this crazy thing we call life. So next time you make a mistake, take a chance to, instead of beating yourself up, whether physically or mentally, what happened there? What did I do? What did the other person do? And how can I have fun next time? If I can only be at a party for 20 minutes, then I can only be at a party for 20 minutes because it's too loud. But try to build your threshold. Set the goal. I'm going to be there for 20 minutes, and then I'm going to leave. Say goodbye to my friends and leave. If it's an hour, it's 2 hours, it's the whole night, whatever it is. Know your limits, and also don't be afraid to take breaks during parties. Step outside, go to the bathroom for a minute, take your deep breaths, bring your sensory toys. To use when the moment calls for it, and be cool when people ask you about it. It's like this helps me process my feelings, and then people will be like, "That's cool." And if they don't, they're not worth being friends with in the first place because you want people to just be cool with you. And then the key that starts with is finding confidence in yourself to be cool with what you need and you don't need, and recognizing I need to bring what I need to the party because you are the party, my friends. You are an all amazing individual and you have so much to share with your college classmates. So I want to hear your college stories. I want to hear the ups, the downs, what you learned, more tips. Please comment in the comments of this video below. Please subscribe, and I hope to learn from you guys what some good tips are so we can start this conversation of how to thrive in college, thrive at being autistic and in college, thrive at being young adults, thrive in enjoying new experiences. This has been another episode of Adulting on the Spectrum. Hope you enjoyed it. This is Sam Huber signing off.